I turned 30 about 2 months ago, and since then, I have been reflecting a lot on my 20s and just my life in general. People tend to make a big deal out of turning 30, like it's something to be feared, like exiting your 20s means the end of youth, fun, excitement, the end of all good things. To be fair, I think turning 30 is a big deal. Not because life as you know it suddenly ends, not because you're losing anything, but because you have so much to gain. At 30, I know myself better than I ever have. I have an understanding of my values, I know what I want to prioritize, and I definitely do not want to let this next decade go to waste. This is my 40 before 40. 40 items I'd like to complete to create my dream life in my 30s. I have categorized my list into 6 sections: hobbies, health, my inner child, aka fun, money, location, and self-development. Hobbies. 1. Build a reading nook or reading corner. I've always wanted a designated cozy spot to read, so I really want to build out a dreamy space where all you're allowed to do is read, and ideally read physical books. I guess we can make exceptions for ebooks, but my vision is just reading a physical book in this beautiful space. Absolutely no phones allowed. On the topic of books, item number 2, catalog my book collection. I have absolutely no idea how many books I own, and I just want to have a list compiled so that I can reference it. And like if I ever lend someone a book, I can kind of act as a library and like keep track of who I've lent my books to, because you know how that goes. You lend a book to someone and then you never see it again because you forget that you gave it to them. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Item number 3. Read all of my unread books. This is a difficult one to commit to because, like I just said, I have no idea how many books I actually have. So this might be a big undertaking, but I don't think that the number of books I have is crazy out of hand. I guess we'll find out at a later date. I'll have to update you once I've cataloged my books. Number 4. Knit a sweater. I learned how to knit over a year ago, and the main thing I've made is beanies, hats. I've also knit flat. Like I learned how to knit by knitting a scarf that I never finished. But yeah, I would really love to knit a sweater. I see knitters on Instagram, on YouTube doing this beautiful color work, and I want to join in on the fun because it's just so beautiful. Number 5. Mend an article of clothing. I have a whole pile of clothes that need some type of mending. It has been this thing that I've been procrastinating for a very long time. I have mended clothes before, but just basic, like, oh, there's a little hole, I'm just gonna like sew it up really quick. My vision for this goal is to do some type of beautiful, visible mend on an article of clothing. Like I would like to learn how to do darning or just like a really pretty embroidery over a hole. So something a little bit more elaborate than a quick fix. But I do want to get all my quick fixes done too. But the goal for now is just one beautiful, visible mend. Number 6. Sew an article of clothing from scratch. I feel embarrassed to admit this. I've been interested in sewing for a really long time. We're talking years. And the people around me, those that love me, know that this is something that I'm interested in learning how to do. So, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was gifted a sewing machine. My stepmom gave me a sewing machine for Christmas, and it's still in the box, unopened, never used, and it's been years. Yeah, I have a lot of shame surrounding that. But I need to bust that thing out and whip up a dress or a shirt or a skirt, something. I want to make a piece of clothing. I've made pieces of clothing, sorry. I would like to sew a piece of clothing. Number 7, write a crochet pattern. I have also been crocheting for over a year. It's almost been 2 years since I've learned how to crochet. And I think I'm getting to the point where I could design my own pattern. Number 8, bake sourdough from scratch. I really enjoy baking. When I was a teenager, I thought I was going to be a pastry chef. But that is not the path my life took on. I feel like in the past few years, sourdough has had a resurgence. It's the star of the show when it comes to bread, at least in my opinion. I love this stuff, but I kind of have a fear of keeping my starter alive. Like, I don't have the time for a pet right now. I will at some point in my 30s, and I'm gonna make some delicious sourdough. Oh, I can't wait for that day to come. Number 9, plant a garden. I love plants. I have a ton of plants, as you can see. But it's time for me to start planting things outside. I am still contemplating what I would like to plant. I was thinking like a vegetable garden, perhaps some fruit of some sort. But the more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards having a flower garden because I just love flowers. How beautiful would that be? Number 10, truly surf a wave. I'm not a surfer. I grew up near the ocean, so I have a lot of friends that surf. My partner is a surfer, or at least when we are near the ocean, he is a surfer. We live hours away from the ocean now. I've gone surfing many a time. I can catch a wave, and then once the wave is caught, I can stand up for the tiniest amount of time. I've never actually caught the wave and popped up on the board as you're catching the wave, which is kind of what you got to do in order to that's surfing. Before I am 40, I would like to truly catch a wave, and that's going to take a lot of work. My shoulders are going to be very tired for a period of time, but I got to make that happen at least once. Just one. Moving on to the category of health. Number 11, learn how to check my boobs. I feel like this is something that should be talked about more. Why isn't everyone with boobs taught how to do this? I would like to be able to give myself breast exams, at-home breast exams, until it is time for me to get mammograms. I don't even know where to start, but I'm sure with some internet researching, I could probably find some reputable sources and learn how to do this. Or, of course, just go to the doctor. I should get a physical. Number 12, get my fertility tested. I still don't know whether or not I plan to have kids, but I would like to know what my options are and just know the general happenings on when it comes to my body. Number 13, go back to therapy / get evaluated. There is a condition that I think I may have, and I've been to therapy before. I loved it, but I did not ever bring up the concern that I have about a condition I may have. So I think it is time I go back to therapy and just discuss what my concerns are and see if that goes anywhere. If not, great. Never want to diagnose myself, which is why I feel like I get in my head about whether or not I even should bring this up to a doctor. But you should bring your concerns up with a medical professional if you have them, and I'm gonna do that. These next health related items all have to do with building strength. Once you turn 30, you start losing your muscle mass at a more rapid rate, and that really scares me. I believe it's something like 3 to 5% of your muscle mass per decade after turning 30, which is a lot. I want to take care of my body, and honestly, I have been struggling to do that lately. I have been pretty active all my life. I was in organized sports as a child, for as long as I can remember, up until I was 18. In my 20s, I wasn't as active as I was as a child, but it would be really hard for anyone to achieve that as an adult because I had to go to practice many times a week. I was still very active in my 20s, except for this past year. In this past year, I have had a lot of transition go on in my life, and the whole keeping up my strength, remaining active situation has taken a turn. I can honestly say I am physically the weakest I've ever been in my entire life. It scares me. It really scares me. It doesn't feel good. I feel weak. I feel heavy. I feel less capable, oftentimes incapable. I hate that feeling, and I don't want that to just get worse as I get older. I want to take care of my body. I want to feel strong. I want to feel capable. So these are my goals to help me get there. Number 14, I want to do 10 pull-ups in a row. When I was a kid, I could whip out pull-ups like it was nobody's business. The first competitive sport I ever did was gymnastics. So they have you doing pull-ups as soon as you touch the bar. Like as soon as you're able to hang from a bar, they have you start doing pull-ups. In my adult life, I think the most I've ever done in a row is 8. And as of right now, I probably can't even do 1. So I have a long way to go. I have 10 years to make it happen, okay? And I'm going to start on that now. Number 15, 5 pistol squats on each leg. Number 16, a 1-minute handstand without support. So not against a wall, just a handstand hold for 1 minute, balancing on my hands. Number 17, 40 push-ups in a row. I don't know how many push-ups I can do in a row right now. I don't think 40 is an absurd amount for me. Famous last words. Number 18, do a backflip. I know this one seems a little absurd, but as I mentioned earlier, the first sport I ever did was gymnastics. I was able to do a standing backflip, a standing back tuck, if you will, a standing back, if you're really up to speed with the terminology. I learned how to do that skill when I was 8, and the last time I did one was maybe like 3 years ago, maybe a little less than that, but I haven't done one since, and it makes my heart really sad to think that I've done my last one. Once I have like built all the strength, you know, I have to build in order to do the other things on the list, I think I'll be capable of doing a standing back again. It probably will require me seeing a coach at some point, getting a spot here, a spot there. But yeah, I don't want to have done my last standing back. On to the next category, my inner child. We are talking fun for the sake of fun. Things that would make Lil Jess happy. Number 19, take dance classes. So dance was the first extracurricular activity I had ever done. I started taking classes when I was like 4 or 5. I danced competitively from like 6 to 11. I was never very good, but dance is like my first love, even though it was, I like genuinely was pretty bad. I love dancing. I think about it all the time. And the last time I was in a regular class was in college, my freshman year of college, which was over a decade ago. I would like to take a dance class, a recurring class, and just get back into it. I'm really nervous about it, but I'm really, really excited. Number 20, play Kingdom Hearts 3. I love the game Kingdom Hearts. I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I know 3 has been out for years, but I've just never played it. I own it. I have it. I could make this happen. I just have to take the time to do it, and I really want to. So I will be playing this game before I turn 40. Number 21, beat Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is probably my favorite video game. We had it on Nintendo 64 when I was a kid, so I played it a lot then, but I got nowhere near beating the game as a child. I now have it on Nintendo 64 still, as well as on the Switch. And I think on the Switch I have like 90 something stars, so I'm pretty close to beating it. It's just a really, maybe it's just me, it's a really hard game, but I would like to beat it because this is like that would be a lifelong achievement, you know, an achievement of a lifetime, if you will. Number 22, ride a tandem bike. I don't know. I've just always wanted to. I see them around and I'm like, that looks fun. Who wants to take the front seat? Number 23, own a trampoline. I feel like I'm divulging how beautiful and privileged my childhood was, but I had a trampoline in my backyard as a child and I loved it. I would go out there when I felt bored and I would just jump around, or I would lay down and stare at the sky, and time well spent outside, nothing going on except for me, the springs, and the sky. Number 24, own monkey bars. This is another weird one. I loved playing on the bars as a kid, and I feel like having monkey bars would help with the whole strength thing as well. So 2 for 1. Number 25, get my calamansi plant to fruit. This is my plant. I grew her from seed. I'm very proud of her for coming this far. For those of you who don't know, calamansi is also known as Filipino lime. It's a citrus fruit that is very sour and very delicious, or at least it is for me. I had a calamansi tree in my backyard growing up. We would have them all the time. I would just like eat the fruit straight. We would make juice with it, use it in marinades. I love the flavor. I miss having never ending calamansi. I want to just love and tend to my tree so that one day she might produce fruit. How beautiful. I keep saying that. But like, but actually, how beautiful would that be? Number 26, spend the day boogie boarding. Again, I grew up near the ocean, and when I was a kid, we didn't go to the beach all the time, but when we did, I would spend all day out in the water with the boogie board, catching waves, and it was a blast. I haven't done that probably since I was a teenager. I gotta do that again, because it's so fun. And then you go to sleep at night, and it feels like you're in the ocean in your bed. Has anyone ever experienced that? Like in a good way, not in a seasick way. Next category, let's talk about money. Number 27, own a house that isn't falling apart. I do own my house, not outright. I pay a mortgage, so the bank owns a large portion of it, actually. It is, in fact, kind of falling apart. I'm not going to complain about it. I have, however, considered making a video about whether or not I regret buying it. I am very grateful to own my house, but in order to cross this item off the list, I would either need to renovate this house so it's no longer falling apart, or just buy a house that is intact. So we'll see how this one gets knocked off the list. Number 28, monetize my YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Help me cross this one off the list. Number 29, pay off all my debt. I have something to confess. I've actually already completed this one. I'm still including it because this was going to be on the list. It's taken me a long time to make the list since turning 30. And after turning 30, I accomplished this. April 28th is when I made the last payment off my credit card. Oh, and this is excluding my mortgage, obviously. I think it's within the spirit of this activity to include it on the list, and I make the rules. So, number 30, sell something I have made. Number 31, invest. So I have a retirement account that I have through my employer. I actually have a few retirement accounts from previous employers as well. I wonder if I can consolidate all of those. I should probably look into that. I would like to invest in the stock market. I have some ideas of how I might do this. Maybe index funds, something that I don't need to be super involved in or competent in the stock market for. Like, I obviously want to have the information. I need to be informed. I don't want to be a day trader. Number 32, make a living doing something creative. I feel a drive to make this happen. I don't know exactly what it will look like. I'm going to try. And I believe. Number 33, build an emergency fund of 6 to 12 months worth of living expenses. Because I just paid off my debt, my emergency fund is not very impressive, but I can start building on it more and more since I am no longer having to put money towards credit card payments. I definitely understand the importance of having an emergency fund, especially because my goal is to potentially make money in more creative ways. So having a nest egg built up in case things don't pan out the way that I hope or that I plan is really important. Our next category is location. Number 34, live abroad. To accomplish this, I want to live in a different country for 3 months or longer. I've done a fair bit of traveling, but I would like to be able to stay in one place for an extended period of time to really get to experience it. Number 35, travel to a continent I've never been to. I live in North America. I have been to Asia and Europe, so our options are South America, Australia, Africa, or Antarctica. Number 36, go on a multi-night backpacking trip. I have gone backpacking twice, both only for one night. So to check this one off, I would like to do a backpacking trip of 3 nights or longer. Number 37, move back to the ocean. Like I mentioned earlier, I grew up near the ocean, about a 20-minute drive to the beach, In my 20s, I lived even closer than that. I lived a walking distance to the beach and I loved it. I now live a 3-hour drive from the ocean and I love where I live. It's a really beautiful place. But I miss the ocean. I miss the beach. There's a part of me that like feels more like me when I get to be near the ocean. If I lived within a 30-minute drive from the ocean, I would be happy. But to check this one off, I am going to say live within an hour drive to the beach. I don't know if this will happen anytime soon, but I would like for it to happen within the next decade. Now let's talk about self-development. Number 38. Become fluent in another language. I used to be pretty good at Spanish. I took 5 years of Spanish in school. I live in California. I have my whole life. So Spanish is just part of your everyday here. Like you'll see street names that are in Spanish and you'll hear Spanish all the time, which I think is lovely. Like I'm glad that I grew up with a language other than English being spoken around me. I don't really use Spanish at all anymore. It's like gone. It doesn't exist in my brain. It doesn't have to be Spanish. I think that that would be the easiest route to go. But I think living abroad could help with this. So maybe when I end up living in a different country, I'll learn whatever language they speak there. Number 39, develop a personal style. I mentioned this in the 10 things I didn't do in my 20s video. And you know what? This is the decade. I'm going to make it happen. I've never had an outfit, much less a wardrobe, that when I put the clothes on, I think, yeah, this makes me feel like me. And I'd like to make that happen. So I would like to be more intentional with the clothing that I purchase and the clothing that I make. The last one doesn't have a category. Last but not least, number 40. Marry my partner. I just love that guy. We've been together for almost 7 years. It's going to be 7 years in like 3 or 4 months. Wild. We've lived together for the last 5-ish years. We've owned a house together for the last year. So we're very open about our finances with each other. We're very open about everything with each other. He's my bestie. Hashtag best friends forever. Because of marriage. I would like to celebrate our love. I would like to celebrate our partnership. Yeah, I want to marry that guy. That is my 40 before 40 list. I reserve the right to make changes. Again, I make the rules. I'm a multifaceted human being that's ever changing. And you know what? I may turn 39 and decide, hey, I don't want to buy a trampoline anymore. That won't make my life better. But as of now, that is still on the list. Have you ever made one of these lists? What from my list would you include on yours? What isn't on my list that you would include on yours? I would love to know. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you have to say. Make sure to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!